Do you ever ask yourself, do I need a CPA? Or can I just do my taxes myself? Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when a new video releases next week. And I will tell you that I was somebody who did my own taxes I've done it both ways. I used to have my taxes prepared by an accountant. Then I began to feel like they were not the right CPA for me. It wasn't a good fit. I had outgrown them because when I started with them, I didn't have a business and they were not well versed in businesses. And so when I became a business owner, they were no longer beneficial to me. And I was finding that I was doing a better job than what they were. And so at that point, I decided to start doing my own taxes and I personally used at that time TurboTax. Super easy to use. Highly recommend it if you're doing your own taxes. And at that time, I don't know if they still do it, but they had where at the end, when you found out how much you were getting back in your tax refund, if you chose to have a certain dollar amount put on a Amazon gift card, they would match it. Not crazy? So of course, I would take advantage of that. And it was hugely beneficial. But there came a point where I realized, again, I had outgrown myself. And I needed a CPA's input to help me bring my business to the next level. I felt like I was likely missing tax deductions because I was unsure. I don't study the tax law, but a CPA does. And so I wanted to gain that advantage by having a CPA on my team who they were well versed in it. They stayed up to date and they could guide me.
Leave me a comment and let me know. Do you feel like you've outgrown your CPA?
And so that was when I made the shift. And I will tell you, when I made that shift, my CPA began finding tax deductions that I was missing. And I thought I was awesome at finding them myself. I went through a lot of education, took a lot of training courses to learn what tax deductions were out there and understand how I could incorporate it, and still having a CPA because they are so knowledgeable and spend so much time working on taxes and studying taxes that they came in and it was a game changer. And so when you can leverage your a good CPA who is a good fit for you, leverage their knowledge with your organization of your bookkeeping documentation and put those together, that is how you get your biggest tax refund year after year after year. Not all CPAs are equal. So just because you have a CPA doesn't mean that they're actually able to get you the best tax deductions, the best tax refund possible. Because not everybody specializes in being a business owner. Some people, some CPAs, and if you think about it, a lot of your CPAs are employed. They're not their own business. They're employed by somebody else. And so if they don't own their own business, they're not quite as invested in understanding how the tax law and the tax benefits work for a business owner. Does that make sense? And so if you have somebody who is really educated on helping an employee file their tax return, and they don't have a lot of experience or desire to help business owners, then right then and there, you know you do not have a CPA that is the right fit for you, okay? Now there's other things that come into factor here. So if you have a CPA who is very skilled with business owners, but they are skilled with a business owner that is in no way, shape, or form anything like your business, meaning maybe that they are used to working with corporations. They're very good with corporations. Well, if you're a small business owner, there's different rules and they might not know how to leverage those rules as easily or as well as what they do for their corporate clients. The same thing if you have a CPA who's used to working with people who are farmers, then they know how to really leverage the tax benefits for someone that's a farmer, but not necessarily someone that's a business owner. And then again, if you have somebody that's good with brick and mortar stores, but they're not good with online entrepreneurs, man, that's a whole different ballgame. And so you want to be asking questions to find out, is your CPA a business owner themselves? What type of businesses do they use or do they have? Do they have clients that are a business that is in your same type of industry? And if they do, great. If they don't, then you need to start looking elsewhere. And then you need to find out, how can they guide you and help you get more tax deductions, to strategize, to have more benefit when tax season comes. Now, tax season is not the time to strategize for your taxes, but what you're trying to do is find out, how can you guide me later in the year when we meet to get some strategizing done? And if they're able to give you answers on how they would guide you, and you feel like, yes, you're a person that can really help me, go with them. But if there's somebody who says, I really just prepare taxes, I don't really help strategize taxes, then that may be an indication that you need to look elsewhere. And the reason I say that it may be is because some people with their business, if they're a small business owner, some of them are not looking to grow their business into something very large and very profitable. Totally fine. That is totally okay. But somebody like that may not be as interested in tax strategies. They may be more interested in just maintaining the status quo of what they're making right now. But if you are a business owner who wants to grow and really build a business that brings in a lot of profit, that's able to scale and grow over time, then that's where you start saying, you know what, I do need somebody that can help me strategize, can help me learn how to leverage my expenses and grow my business. Now that you know how finding the right CPA can help you get the biggest tax refund possible, head on over to my website so that you can download my free tax deduction cheat sheet that gives you around 70 examples of business expenses that you can write off as tax deductions. And while you're at it, check out my course that will teach you how to get your bookkeeping done in just 5 minutes. Now, if you liked this video, please let me know by liking it below, subscribing, and sharing it with a friend. And please comment below and let me know if you found this video helpful.